As every 2 years, we invited CIG guests to our main panel, and that is also the panel that you are mainly here to attend. And I am very happy to welcome both of them. One was already here on stage and actually answered a lot of your questions, and the other one is quite fresh. Well, let me look. Fresh.
So geil, ich liebe das, das ist so geil.
And please welcome with me again Jared Huckabee and Thorsten Leimann.
Yeah, you sit there so I can keep an eye on you.
Okay.
So first, hi. It's an honor. It's an honor. The second. Welcome.
Hi, CON42. I'm back. And with me today is the guru of gameplay himself, Thorsten.
Hi.
It's not my show, it's your show, but I do want to say that Thorsten is always one of my favorite guests.
That's a lie.
You can always rely on him to just give you this straight, no BS, yes, that is how we are doing it. No, we would never do such a thing. Whatever. So I'm actually really excited to see somebody else tackle with it. So I'm just going to kick back, put up my neat shoes, go at it, man.
Well, it's hard for me to begin when I have such an entertainer on stage, but I'll try my best. So first of all, Jared, we have heard about you before. You are...
What am I? Come on, say it right to my face. What am I?
You're working at CIG. Thorsten...
Vladi macht das so gut.
Das
Er kann nicht mehr, so gut.
Audience and the live stream, what is your job at CIG and what do you do on a daily basis?
Hi, I'm Thorsten. I'm a lead systems designer for CIG, and what I do is right now sheep herding a lot, which is like making sure that all my team is working on exactly what is asked of us, so pushing the features forward, making sure that no one forgets what features exist in the game and that people use them correctly is right now my main job, it feels like, but yeah, that's my everyday life right now.
You want to add something?
I told you.
So, also in this panel, like in the other panels that I did with Jared and also with Will, I will have some questions here and the others might come from the audience and the live stream. That's okay also for you?
Yeah, hit us with what you got, man.
Okay. So, just to clear that up from the beginning, are there any kind of restrictions, meaning questions that you will definitely not answer based on your work?
Yes, I'll take this. We'll give you a little heads up. This will help you understand the questions we're going to talk about and the questions that we can't.
Keine Wandfragen.
Remember in February of this year, we did a big 3-hour-long show with Benoit, our Chief Technology Officer, and indicated that this year was going to be different than every other year in Star Citizen's past. We were putting the new feature development kind of away, kind of onto the back burner. Not as many folks were going to be working on new features this year. We were instead going to redirect them back into older features to fix many of these long-standing bugs, whether that's fixing an elevator or reinventing an elevator or just murdering every elevator. Like this. Making things like unique item recovery so that people wouldn't be afraid to wear their cool armors and stuff. And focusing instead on bug fixes, performance, and new content. This year, we're putting out 11 major patches this year instead of the traditional 4 that we used to do in the past. So, and each one has a whole new realm of content waiting for you. The July patch is going to be so cool, by the way. No, I'm sorry, the June patch. The July patch is okay. The June patch is really cool. That's coming up.
Mit der 4.1.2 nehme ich mal an. Und wir hatten jetzt schon einige Patches gehabt und es werden noch weitere folgen. Also 11 große Patches dieses Jahr.
So a lot of the questions that we can talk about today are going to be fixes to existing stuff. So mining, salvaging, medical. Torsten's the guru of engineering, so we'll take some engineering stuff. But features that aren't in the game yet, like research or exploration or base building, crafting. Those are ones we're probably going to want to. We're going to have a harder time answering because those are in lower levels of development right now, while those people are focused on closing out Squadron 42 and fixing the things in the PU we'd rather have them fixing right now. Other than that, we're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. So let's do it.
Great. Thanks for clearing this up. So I guess this is a question for Jared. Even if CIG is right now prioritizing and stabilizing the service and remove bugs, we guess that you're still working on the base building possibilities.
Yeah, so when I say that things have lowered in priority, that's not to say that they've stopped. Kian is still completely dedicated to base building, stuff like this. Torsten is working on,
not only Kian, right? So like Deck also.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to give him a list of names.
Well, but I would like to mention Deck.
Declan too, but yeah.
Deck really pushes hard, so I would.
Yeah. Hi, Declan. I know he's watching. He's a good guy. But yeah,
base building
development on these features is still underway. Base building, crafting, stuff like that. It's just, whereas before, in 2024, previous years, there might be 15 people or 20 people. Now it's a lower amount of people because those other folks have been redirected towards performance improvements, fixing bugs, closing out squadrons. So they're still in development. They're just not moving as fast as perhaps anybody would want them to because we have higher priorities right now, which is improving the stability of the persistent universe first, before we start reintroducing all these new features again.
Okay. So, Torsten, one for you. Given all the things you're working on right now and possibly are not allowed to talk about, is there anything, literally anything, like a piece of meat that you can throw it to us to make us more hungry, something that you're allowed to say and you love to see coming in game?
So, yeah, Jared already hinted at it. So it's engineering gameplay. So I think the good news there is that we are really trying to get it out sooner than later. I've been saying that for quite some time now, I'm aware, but like the Arena Commander demo that we did was really helpful, and we really would like to, like, we mentioned it at some point that we have the tech preview channel, so we really want to utilize that, and especially from the key lessons that we learned from the Arena Commander demo that basically showed like a glimpse of the engineering gameplay or what it can be. We realized, wait, we need more feedback, but the gameplay also needs to be in a more advanced stage than it was when we were in the Arena Commander time frame. So now we are really pushing hard, and like everyone in my team is right now, or the people that are actually supposed to work on that in my team, they are really pushing hard that we hit a certain deadline that we set ourselves, that is like sooner than later. So the earliest we can actually, like, don't ask me when I would like to have it, because that would be
When
tomorrow.
would you like to have it?
I would like to have it out tomorrow, but that is a very, very, very optimistic wish from my side. But no, so like we really want to utilize the tech preview channel there, and right now we are really doing the best we can to put it there. And what I can already say is that the gameplay or the engineering gameplay there will not be the complete engineering gameplay. It will be another snippet of it, but it will be way more advanced than what you saw in the Arena Commander. And yeah, what you will also be able to do, so it will not only be Arena Commander, but it will also be like the PU. So we will be the first time experiencing the full, or the first segment of the engineering gameplay in the PU, which I am really looking forward to get in all of your hands.
And fire.
Yeah, true.
I'm excited to see fires just breaking out all throughout an Idris.
Ja,
and
ich auch.
People trying to run through and putting the fires out and stuff.
And that's actually a spoiler, isn't it?
What? The Idris is out. Everybody knows that right now, right?
No, I mean that the first release will be with fire.
No, we did like 6 shows on this thing. I've been talking about engineering for years and years. I'm waiting on you. Let's get it out there.
Yeah, well, it also will have fire and fire extinguishers, so that it will be the first time that you then can actually be a firefighter in the game.
I've literally done like 3 shows dedicated just to fire. I know about fire. You know about fire. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will just go down there because you two are the main attraction and I'm just disturbing the picture here.
Pardon me?
How you guys doing? It's been a pretty good convention, hasn't it? This is impressive. I've really been impressed with the convention so far, especially with the production value. I went back and toured with the team back there. They got some good folks back there and some good hardware. This is really nice. I'm happy to see what I see here. I just fill in time. Fine. Oh, dang, my words are in German.
Yeah, we translated it. Even if you're speaking quite fast, it will be written there. Not in time, but it will be. So this next question is for Thorsten and Jared. What is the most fascinating experience that you have seen become reality for Star Citizen?
Yeah, you can start with that one, Thorsten.
I actually, we got some questions beforehand, right? And I was thinking hard about that one, what I actually want to talk about there. But, so, it is a niche feature, and it was my first feature that I worked on, and that is refueling. And because it opens up so many possibilities that we were hoping for, like we always advertise it like, yeah, once pyro comes in, like refueling will come very important, and we still strive for that, and it's such a key feature without it getting the recognition of being a key feature. And that is like something that I'm personally very proud of, because it's subjectively attached to this was the first feature that I worked on, but also it's like something that has potential. And I remember the moment when we released it and people were stocking their starfarers with like goods, like it was basically a merchantman but MISC. So it was. It showed the potential of the feature, and I'm really looking forward to give it a more meaningful space inside the universe that we currently have. So, yeah.
I think if you asked most developers, they would say it's something smaller like that. You know, I think people expect us to say, you know, something huge and mind-bogglingly game-changing like crafting or base building or stuff like this. But it's almost always for developers, and I've been doing this for a long time, it's always smaller things like that, because it's those things that everybody else just kind of glosses over, and you think it's a smaller thing, and it ends up having the most long-standing ramifications. I'm going to cheat with my answer, and I'm going to talk about a feature that isn't in yet, and that comes in the June patch.
Oh, that's
Im Juni, mit dem Juni-Patch, okay.
That is
Was ist das?
very unfair.
So, no. This is one of those really small, silly ones. It's not a big thing. In in the next patch, there's a new way to open doors. So,
yeah.
you know, we've heard the criticism of keycard citizen, like you're constantly, every event or whatever, you're always chasing keycards. Oh, I can't produce his name right now. I really wanted to give him a shout out. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name right now. But there's a new door scanner for the content that's in June that basically the door only opens if you're dressed like one of the bad guys. And so you have to kill one of the bad guys and take their outfit. You have to put the outfit on. It scans your loadout and says if you look like the bad guy, then the door opens. And just that little tiny thing, extrapolate the kind of content we can make from now on. Extrapolate the kind of spy content.
Ja, dann kannst du da so sneaky beaky rein und ich finde das echt cool.
Stuff, the whole things where you don't have to go through and slaughter and kill everybody. Maybe the whole mission where you never fire a single shot. You have to pretend to be some. We have to get the AI to not to be full too. There's more work to that. But just that little change to the doors is such a small thing, but it's going to unlock so much potential going forward. And right now, just maybe it's recency bias, very recently, considering it's not out until next month. That's what popped into my head when you asked that question. That's a feature I'm most excited about right now.
Do we want to mention that there's also another way, but instead of dressing like them?
No, let's leave something for the ISC.
Okay.
That comes out.
Okay, es gibt wohl noch einen anderen Weg. Das werden wir dann wahrscheinlich eben dann im Juni sehen, im Inside Star Citizen. Bin ich schon gespannt. Habt ihr ein paar Vermutungen im Chat? Oder in den YouTube-Kommentaren? Ja. Müssen wir schauen, was das Outfit sein wird von den Bad Guys. Mal gucken, ob das was für mein nächstes Cosplay wäre. Bin schon sehr gespannt.
In 2 weeks.
Ah, okay. In 2 Wochen. Ja, ist ja dann auch schon Juni.
Thing. I can share
lang.
something, but you can't? That's terrible. I'm a jerk.
Well, Thorsten, you were talking about refueling. My God, refueling. I want to hook in that. It's not refueling, but similar. Talking about crafting and refining materials, could you tell us about the actual state of the Orion and the refining process, since it is such a massive ship?
So I will not talk about the Orion, but I can talk a bit about refining. So was there anything else to that question for refining, or should I just...
You're trying to backdoor a question about the Orion.
Yeah.
You really want to know about the Orion, not the refining. No, I'll tell you. I don't want to jump in for you every time. But the reason he can't talk about the Orion is because we work on the gameplay first, and then when the gameplay is there and the gameplay is developed and it's working, then we'll spend the time building the ship. So the reality is there is no progress on the Orion right now. The Orion is sitting, waiting for resources, waiting for a time where refining gameplay has come to the point where it can support a big, giant, crazy ship like that, and then we go, okay, so that's ready. Now we can work on the ship, because nobody wants a ship that doesn't do anything.
Ja, das macht ja auch Sinn, erstmal an einem Gameplay zu arbeiten.
Starfare was first put out before refueling was done, and it doesn't do it. When the Reclaimer was put out before salvage was, it's like you have these ships and like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So we've learned our lessons over the course of the last 13 years, and work on the Orion won't start in earnest until such time as refining gameplay comes up to the point to meet it. Maybe not the answer you wanted to hear, but...
So, refining.
Refining?
What questions? I can talk a little bit about that.
Well, go ahead.
So, it's fun. Kidding. It's very boring. As you all have noticed already, now that we have the mining sacks and everything associated with it, work with the freight elevator that can lead up to you having a lot of raw materials inside your station hangars, for example, or your station inventories. And that highlighted an issue that we currently have with the way that we do the refineries on the servers. So we already are actively working on it. I was hoping that it is already... I'm a bit scared now. I was hoping that we already have it in the current patch, but it didn't make the cut. So I am quite optimistic that it might make the next cut, but we did an update, for example, to the station refineries to recognize the fact that you actually have a lot of materials now in your station inventories. So it is not the end goal that we want to reach with refineries, but it's at least mitigating or recognizing that now you all have way more materials that needs to be refining. Because someone like Red Monster sent me a screenshot of 300 hours of refining time, and we're like, yeah, okay, that's not in a normal play session achievable. So let's fix that. As you all might have, or if you all were at the CitizenCon, and we talked a lot about the ambitions that we have, or the goals that we want to achieve with crafting. And refining is a crafting process, or we treat it as a crafting process. That also means we treat it as a true profession. That means that it also, all the other rules will apply to that. And it also has to fit then in the future of materials that come, or the changes that will come with crafting. So it has to support quality of materials, it has to support the blueprints, it has to support the vehicles that we have with that, it also has to support the bases that we have, it also has to support the stations that we have. So there is a lot to come with refineries, and luckily for us we already have a plan, but as Jared already said, this year we have a different type of momentum for development of features like that, but yeah.
So basically, if you wanted to put it in kind of an order of operations, as crafting comes online, you'll see more refining work. As base building comes online, you'll see more refining work and development. And then it's after crafting, after base building, as refining continue to develop beyond that, that would be the time we would kind of make an assessment. And now is refining far enough along that we can start working on something like the Orion. And that's where that kind of decision would be made.
Thank you for your answer. One more for Torsten. Do you think that it will be possible in the future to repair the hull of your ship by yourself, like you have a storage with metal plates, a welding tool, and you fly to your hull to fix it until you reach a repair shop?
So we already have hull repair in the game. So it is the second function of salvage, right? So you basically print the hull on that, and this is what we will have for the longer future. So the idea of welding things to your ship and having metal plates there, it's an interesting idea, but at this point we really want to focus on delivering rather other systems that tie in more into different types of repair. So component repair will also be very basic. And once we have all these bases done, that you will then hopefully see with the engineering gameplay, we can decide to go more in depth. So if we at some point detect the painting of the hull back onto your ship is not sufficient, or it's not fun enough, or we need a little bit more depth, we will investigate something like you need to buy metal plates and then weld them again to strengthen your hull or something like that. But right now, the exact same functionality of repairing your hull is supposed to be the repair functionality of the salvage tool.
Cool. Well, as you both know, I had many more questions, but given the time...
Let's do them.
Given the time, I would like to give it to the audience in the live stream, if that's okay for you both.
Sure.
Great. So I'll begin with the audience, and after that, I'll go to the stream.
Da sitze ich. Da bin ich, da hinten.
Is the Orion mining drill going to have the same fate as the Reclaimer Claw in terms of laser citizen?
That's one of those questions that's so far out from needing to be decided. We don't have an answer for you right now. There's this. I'd like to use your question to talk about something that I think that'll apply to everything. So it's a good question. It's the kind of question that we get a lot. There's this idea that happens a lot. I've been doing this here for over 10 years, and then I started in the industry back in 2004. That all the decisions that are involved in making a game are done before you start. And that's frankly, it's not true. It's not even close to true. When you make all the decisions before you begin making something, that's called construction. You've built your blueprints, you've developed your engineering, and you go out and you just follow a formula the entire time. It's not game construction, it's game development. We are constantly deciding things as we go. We hire new people. You weren't there in 2012. When did you start?
Good question. I think it's 4 years ago now.
Okay, so Torsten only joined 4 years ago. And imagine if we had every single answer figured out. Imagine if we had every single decision made, and Torsten comes and joins a company and wants to make a game, and he has no decisions to make. He has no inspiration to bring, no agency to provide. He just has to do what somebody figured out back in 2012. Well, that would get us some pretty boring employees. We hire people who come in with new ideas, with fresh ideas, with better ideas.
Das hat er vorhin in seinem Panel ja auch erzählt, dass sie haben eine Idee, sie arbeiten an etwas und dann kommt ein neuer Mitarbeiter oder jemand mit einer neuen oder auch besseren Idee und sagt, hey, können wir nicht das so und so machen? Wie wäre es, wenn wir das so und so machen? Dann sie, okay, dann lassen wir das jetzt hier stehen und liegen, wir machen das jetzt anders. Und das ist ja eigentlich auch was Gutes.
So we don't spend a whole lot of time figuring out something that's not going to happen until 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. It's not the answer a whole lot of people like to hear, but it is the truth. It's just because if you remember, for those who's been here since 2012, who's been here since the yay old days, okay, you remember those early episodes of Wingman's Hangar. How many of the things that you heard on Wingman's Hangar actually materialized? Now, those people weren't lying to you. They were telling you the absolute truth of that moment. But we hire new people. We bring new technologies in. We have better ideas.
Ideen, Forschungen ändern sich und das ist ja auch eine gute Sache.
The reason I can't answer your question right now is because whatever we think it is today may not be what it is tomorrow, or next month, or next year, and it wouldn't be fair to send you off with some piece of information that I can't be reliably confident will actually be what we do when it comes time to make the Orion. So I apologize for not being able to give you the answer to that question, but I hope the context here is actually more helpful to you and to everybody else. Maybe? Okay, maybe not. I tried.
Genau, Weiterentwicklung und Veränderung. Bin ich immer dafür. Auch
I'm going to go
im
to
echten
one
Leben.
question from the stream, and that is, the real AL is asking, when will we get a maybe wireframe representation of the surroundings in landing mode, gear is down, to make proper touchdowns?
They asked a when question?
Upsi, ein bisschen falsch formuliert.
You asked a when? What was that person's name?
The real AL.
Real AL. Now, people use their Twitch names for their account names oftentimes, so we're just going to see what ships that person has.
By the way, he
And
just
melt.
opened the calculator. That is just pretentious.
I don't have roaming data. I can't. No, we can't answer when. I understand this is being streamed and whatnot, but I'm going to be real candid with you. The when question is the hardest question to answer in all of game development. I mean, not even Rockstar, who's making GTA 6, which is not the sixth
Was auch
game in the
verschoben wurde
franchise,
auf
by the way.
nächstes Jahr
It's
Mai,
like
glaube ich.
the 14th game in that franchise, and it's not their 14th game, it's their 50th game over 30 years. Not even they can tell you when their thing is coming. And that's because there's one simple fact in all estimation, whether you're building a swimming pool or a house or a video game or a feature, and it's all based on prior work. It's we built this before, how long did that take? We built this before, how long did that take? We haven't made a game before. Not CIG. You know, we've all done it individually for other companies and stuff, but CIG, us together, we've never done this before. So, and we're not making a game that's been made before. We're making a game that hopefully, if we're doing it right, has never been made before. So if you've never made a game before and you're building a game in which nobody else has built that kind of game before, and you're using technologies and tools that have never been used to build a game like that before, how do you answer how long something's going to take? It's really hard, and we've been really bad at it over the years. We try because we know how much you want to, and we know how much we want to be able to tell you that that'll be this and that'll be that. But the reality is we haven't been very good with that because it's just we're doing something new and we're doing something different, and that's what comes with that. So that's why we don't answer when questions anymore. We stopped because it just got too... It got too painful. We kept letting you down. We kept giving you our best answers. We kept giving you our best intentions. And then that's why he won't tell you. He knows when engineering's coming. He won't say it because what if it slips? What if something happens and we miss it by a month? That's a terrible feeling that kills us. So we stopped. That's why we stopped answering when questions. But as for the landing zone, you got landing stuff. You have anything you can tell them about?
Yeah, if the question was actually like, are we aware of that we need a visual helper for making landing gear or landing more accessible, then yes, we are aware and there is a plan in place.
Yeah.
But that's sadly all I can say.
I promise if we ever can't answer a question, I'm going to tell you why. That's I promised you forever and ever and ever. I will tell you why we can't answer. So I hope that's acceptable.
I see you guys up there in front, but I have one question here in the back. So.
Hi, Thorsten. So you were like talking about scanning for door breaching. Will be explosives and hacking the next step to this tier 0 approach?
So it's a mean question because I had a meeting yesterday about that.
Go ahead.
I won't say a word about it.
Oh, Something. We've had two questions where I've had to tell them why we can't answer.
Okay.
Something.
So let me think how I can formulate it without giving away too much.
Thorsten.
So we identified that it might be very interesting to have a breaching mechanic coming with the engineering gameplay. And that's all I want to say.
I tried, everybody.
One from the stream again. It would be very useful to give inventory boxes names. Is adding tagging boxes still planned?
I want that.
I can promise you that there's not a single person who works for CIG who doesn't want that very badly. When especially it was a big point of discussion when the new personal persistent hangers came online for the first time and you're able to actually put boxes out and leave them out. It's like, gosh, I would love to know what was inside that box. You know, it's like I stack all these boxes up. It would be great if I could label us helmets, and this one was armors, and this one was guns, and we want it so much. It's just, I would say, of every single team at CIG who is working hard and is taxed and is doing so many things, it's hard to keep up, the UI team. The UI team is one of the most taxed teams in all of CIG because they're one of the few teams who touch everything, every single feature, every single piece of content, from a sign in a room, anything. it has to be displayed on UI, the mini maps, just like this. They are involved in anything, and that's Bone. Bone. No, nobody remembers this isn't gonna joke. It's all right. The best I can tell you is that we all desperately, desperately, desperately want it. It's just a question of resources and priorities. It's the list of things that we want are as long as this table. And at any given time, I think I said this in the last panel, we can only work on 6 inches of this table at a time. So it's just a question of as soon as we get enough of the things that are in front of it done, that it can edge into that first 6 inches, oh gosh, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so happy when we can do that. And then, if it's visible to other people, the terrible messages you're gonna write because of boxes. You're going to build entire barricades that just spell out entire. Like, I imagine people are going to do the entire Lord of the Rings spelled in box names.
Bringt mich auf Ideen.
We even had isn't it the official term TTP?
Why don't you tell them what TTP is, Torsten?
No. I don't take bad words.
You brought it up.
No.
Was ist
We
das?
had the TTP issue with the hull scraping at some point.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen, though.
Yeah.
If you don't know what TTP is, ask your parents.
So, hands are going up. Well, now, camera boy, you have to walk backwards.
By the way, if you see me keep checking my phone, it's because Chris Roberts is messaging me about. He wants to know how many people are here today.
1,000. No, it's about 600.
About 600.
Well, I've seen this guy before.
Time to pee-pee.
It's the motorcycle improved. He still has his gun, so better answer his question.
Hello.
Hello.
Jared, you told that maybe burning ships are coming. You think it's planned to open all doors and venting the ship? Is that possible to put out the fire? But yeah,
It's part of the engineering game.
Yeah.
But it's not part of the first bit that you will see. As I said, we really wanted to. Like the problem of the engineering gameplay, or like problem is the wrong word. The challenge of the engineering gameplay is that it's touching so many fields and it's such a huge change to the game that we internally discussed how to cut it up in the sense of more digestible bits. And in the first bit, we will fully focus on so armor penetration, so bullets penetrating your ship, hitting the components, and the fire effects that will be caused by that. Whereas the life support be defined as its own big thing. So we really would like to have a full focus on that. So we will focus on that on a later iteration, so that we, in the first segment, can get all the feedback that we need to make the engineering, like the repair, the management of the items, the new combat scenarios that we'll encounter, so that we have a full focus on that, and then we basically open up the system. So yes, venting will be part of the engineering gameplay, but not in the first bit that you will see in the tech preview.
Thank you.
They're watching the stream. So they're watching the stream. So everybody, if you would, on 3, say, "Hi, Chris." 1, 2, 3. Hi, Chris.
I'm trying to find a question.
Irgendwer
out
stand
of the
vor
stream,
mir, man hat
but
einfach nur meine lange Sniper rausschauen sehen hier.
I'm trying to find a question out of the stream, but forget it.
These people spent their time here. These people spent their money. They spent their time. They drove from way over. Let them. Yeah, you good. What you got?
Yeah. Because you already start talking about engineering, I know it's a pretty spicy question, but Torsten, can you please tell us what is the state of engineering, on what you are exactly working right now?
The state is
Soon,
we are
TM.
very close on getting it to tech preview, as already mentioned, and Yeah, I would be lying if I would say it's my main focus right now, but it's one of the big pillars that right now is my main focus to get it out. So I'm cracking the whip. Did this answer your question, or was there more to it?
Torsten's being very responsible. Let's just say that it was really close last year. You remember we were doing those ISCs, it was really close last year. And then we did this shift to what we're doing this year. And it's just gotten closer, and it's gotten closer, and
So
I didn't say that.
Like,
I wanted to.
if there's someone that wants it out fast, it's really me. And like, not only speaking for myself, but the team that is working on it. We really want to have you play it because it is a big change to the game. It will not only come with the actual experience of the engineering gameplay, it will be a full rebalance of every item that we have because suddenly we have to take armor penetration for bullets into account. That basically makes health of the components relevant. So there's a huge balancing path that comes with it. So it's a huge effort, it's a huge amount of work that already went into it. And it is ready, like the data side is ready. Right now, we are just like tweaking things that we already see in the internal play sessions that we want to get fixed to make it more accessible. Because if you play the Arena Commander game mode, you recognize that there is like missing like information. It was really hard for you to understand what is actually happening, and we are aware and we are like solving the problems right now still, because like some solutions we had worked well, some didn't. So that's the reason why we have very focused internal testing on it right now, and we are like basically getting it into a state where we consider it, this is good enough to give out to you so that you can give valuable feedback. Because if we would give you a system where you would basically cannot read anything or cannot understand anything that is happening, all the feedback that we would get is we don't understand a thing, and we were like, yeah, we know. So what we are trying to do is now we basically, like, I hate this buzzword, but what we are now doing is the minimal viable product, which is basically setting the baseline so that we can make sure that the feedback that we receive from you is actually valuable to us and will bring the feature forward. So that's the reason why we actually decided even last year, no, it's not ready yet, even though we could have released it. We said, no, we need some more time to like just do a little bit more and a little bit more. And thankfully now we have the tech preview, because we can also start with the premise of, yeah, the UI looks like drawn by a 5-year-old, because it like just us designer did it, but we can, it is fine because it's not a proper release, so it does not have to match the art standards that we have. So you will see programmer art, you will see designer art, and it's fine because it is under the umbrella of the tech preview. So it's a huge benefit for us to have that. Not only that, we can deliver features that are visually not that appealing as the others, but we get the feedback that we need from you. And I cannot emphasize that enough. It is a huge change to the game, and we really need the feedback. And what I also want to put an emphasis on, that also means that we are willing to change some things. So what we deliver you, we don't consider it being gold, right? So it's not like, yeah, we are the smartest people on planet Earth, we know exactly what we want. No, we give you the things like on paper, on math, it all works out. But in the game, as you all know, sometimes things play out differently. And so the intent there is also to react fast, iterate fast over that. And because we are untying ourselves from the proper game, being inside the tech preview, that opens up the possibilities for us to actually do that. So I am really looking forward to get it there.
And if you don't know what the tech preview is, if you remember in December we released 4.0, but it didn't replace the live game. It went over into this kind of side version of the game. That's what we're talking about. Basically putting engineering over there so that you guys can hammer on it, you can pull it apart and still have the primary game that everybody's working to make run so much better this year over here. So one doesn't completely dismantle the other. And then when that one is baking, it's been baked enough time, then it's ready to come on over there. I do have a question about what is worse, designer art or programmer art?
Yeah, depending what designer is working on it and what programmer. So if you have me, my art is worse than,
Yeah.
but mine is intentionally, because if I make it specifically ugly, art jumps on my back and says, no, let me do that.
CON's designer art is beautiful. CON is one of the best designer artists ever. They're both really bad. It's just one's less than bad.
Actually, CON is pretty nice.
CON's is really good. CON could have been an artist, but...
Yeah.
Well, that's close.
Well, hello. With now 2 capital ships in the game and engineering on the line, are there still plans for downtimes or timers when I swap my capital or components or weapons? Please, not in the alpha.
What timers?
Yeah, like you mean like when you stow the ship, a timer before you bring it back out again, or?
No, when you swap capital components.
Cannot swap.
When I swap capital components, there's a timer?
Not yet, but I heard about some way back then that there was plans because you can't swap handily components that are size 3. No, size 2 components you can change, but when capitals was announced and discussed, there was the plans that the capitals have to go to a shipyard, not a yard.
Gotcha. I get what you're saying.
To rebuild the interior parts for other components.
There's no plan for that. Okay. So the churn that you have is actually like the benefit you have if you have a size 1, size 2 component, you can change them on the field. And I think it is tedious. Like, it is effort enough if you have to bring your ship back into your hangar and then exchange it there. So there is no intent of like adding a timer there.
Now that said, we might hire someone next month who comes in with a new idea, and you know, and if it's a great idea and it changes all of our minds and stuff like this, that is what game development is. So I want to caution you. This is the lessons that I hope that I've been teaching for 10 years now and whatnot. It's like when we're up here or we're on ISC or we're on SCL or we're on stage at CitizenCon, we're speaking the truth of the moment. We're always telling you the truth of as we understand it, as we know it, as we believe it today. But we always, as I said it in the last panel, we always love to make room for the better idea. That does not sound like a better idea to me. So that one might not be something you have to worry about. But it's always remember that whatever you hear today, whatever you hear on ISC, SCL, CitizenCon, anywhere else, that's the truth of that moment. It's the best information that we have to give you at that moment. But we always reserve the right to have the better idea, to think better of something, to throw it out, to test it, and have you guys tell us, well, no, maybe you should do it that way. And we go, oh, well, maybe we should. Maybe we should. And, you know, we love having that flexibility, and that's what you and we do together in Star Citizen. So. Who's next?
So, yeah. Ready? Okay, yeah. I have a question where you already teased at some point you already teased at some point that there are some FPS scanning things. We saw also a lot of that a bit in the CitizenCon, I imagine. I think you already did the first thing with the Hathor helmet coming in, doing some FPS
Which
improvement.
was a bug.
When there will be more about that, I'm really eager to see when we have more in the FPS realms, especially in the PvP.
So I'm going to let Torsten answer this. There was a question in the last panel about whether a feature, you ever put a feature out and then there's a bug and people think the bug is the feature and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. Interestingly, it's the same as engineering gameplay because it adds also it will change up the entire way that the FPS combat works. So we decided that it would be a non-ideal decision to give it unfiltered into the PU. So as well as engineering gameplay, this is something that we plan to release with a tech preview, so that we can gather feedback and fine-tune it. So
FPS scanning, you're talking about?
SPS scanning, yes. So that we fine-tune it so it doesn't break the game, right? Because it can be, if it's wrongly tweaked, be a too powerful tool, and if it is badly tweaked in the other way, it might be so useless that no one will ever use it. So for that reason, we decided this feature is also one of the things that we want to get into tech preview.
FPS scanning, engineering are both tech preview things. Whatever the first version of crafting comes, that'll almost certainly be a tech preview thing there before it goes in the PU. Those are the next three that I'm aware of. There might be one I'm not aware of, but as far as the top three priorities for tech preview, it's FPS scanning.
We really want to utilize I'm keeping repeating myself, but we really want to utilize the opportunities we gain with the tech preview, right? We learned from the jump points that having them in the tech preview, that we learned so much that we could tweak it before we moved further. And because it was in the tech preview, we were way more agile in iterating over the things in comparison to the PU. So that is a key lesson we learned there. And now we understood the strength of it, and we really want to utilize it for like, especially for the big features that are coming.
I don't remember exactly, but in that 3-hour SCL we did with Benoit, when 4.0 was on the tech preview channel for a month, we crushed over 400 bugs in that month because it was on tech preview, and we were able to. There's ways to focus in on that when you don't have the entire PU trying to operate at the same time. So we had a really nice experiment with Tech Preview in December and January of this year, and I'm excited for us to use it again. I don't know what's first. I don't know if it's FPS scanning or if it's engineer that's going to make that first, but
I do.
Thank you. Can I? I have a question about the point defense.
Ich will jetzt direkt fragen. Ich würde jetzt direkt fragen, was kommt als erstes, Engineering oder FPS Scanning im Tech Preview?
Towards here are also hitting my own party members in battle or combat or something else. Is there anything planned to switch it or? It's a bug. Okay, it's a feature. Good.
No. If you want to be a feature, then put a Spectrum post up and I can make things work.
Yeah, no, that's again, you're going to have more information on that, but from my understanding that's just a bug. It's not supposed to work that way. We've got the new PDC, we got the PDCs that we've had, and 411 we just added brand new missile PDSs with the Idris T kit and whatnot. Those are things that are going to, as we continue to develop those automated defenses, those are something that we're probably going to be bug fixing and balancing for a long time, because who here has run into a solo piloted Polaris that just comes with its PDCs just destroying everything?
Doch, hatten wir schon mal gehabt, ja.
Anyway? Yeah. So that's not what they're intended to do. They're meant to be primarily a defensive tactic. And if somebody can just pilot the ship and just have it shooting all around like the Rocinante, it's really cool. But it's not great for everybody else and whatnot. So there's a lot of balancing. There's a lot of bug fixing still to do with PDCs, and it is one of those higher priorities. In the list of tables, it's closer to that 6 inches than something like the Orion is.
Might be worth mentioning that if we say bug fixing, that is not something that can be done within like 4 hours, 8 hours. Like especially like the PDC one, it's a very complex system, and by figuring out what actually makes them shoot your party members, it means that the changes or the fix has to go more in depth. That can then be its own feature that is under the umbrella of a bug fix, but it will take up some more time than you would normally think, right? It is not a simple text change.
It's also possible your party member said something behind your back and only the PDC knows. You know, it might not be a bug. The PDC might just be looking out for you. Have you considered that? Chris, I hope to God you stopped watching.
Well, this one was crawling from the back to me here.
Hi. I had a question about what is with ship armor?
Say, what is ship armor?
Yeah, more like what is the state of it, or because at the moment we have only shields.
Yeah, so ship armor
Jetzt kommt die
will be
Schiffspanzerung, ja.
the big thing that will be introduced with the first releasable of the engineering gameplay. So, but.
No, he said it. You can't take it back. You can't take it back. You said it.
But.
So geil.
It is a mitigation
Zu spät.
as of now for the Maelstrom system that is supposed to come, right? We always, like, did we talk about Maelstrom this last CitizenCon? Yeah, so we talked about Maelstrom like plenty of times already, and I assume that most of you are already aware of what Maelstrom is. So physicalized material, different material properties, they are more sturdy, they are more tough, whatever. So a ship is made out of a material, and depending on the material it is made of, it has higher toughness, so bullets have more trouble to penetrate the hull. The armor system that we will introducing with the engineering gameplay is basically mimicking exactly the same gameplay but being data driven. So it is a data setup that we do for all the ships then that mimics the behavior that we want to see with Maelstrom. So it is, yeah, I want to say it's a pretentious way of armor, but it's technically, it shows the functionality. So you as the player, or we as the player, we will also already experience the intended gameplay there. So that also opens up for us the possibility to iterate over it, so that when Maelstrom comes in, we are already at a better starting point than what we would be. So there is a new item that will be not player editable, so you cannot change the armor of your ship, but the armor itself will have a health value or will have a value, and depending on the value, it mimics the integrity of the armor. So that means that if the health of your armor drops, it will be easier to penetrate with the bullet. So there is a benefit of you damaging a ship before you start to aim for the components, because it is actually easier than to hit the components. I hope that was answering the question.
And some of those values are already being factored into ships, like they're already being set up for this, so that when this comes online, they don't have to go through and re-edit, 200 some odd ships. Like when you look at the differences between the Idris M and the Idris P, obviously there's the missile launcher that the M has, and the P has the extra turret. But under the hood, the M also has additional armor that the P doesn't, and stuff like that. And that's all been set up so that when this stuff comes online, you'll start to see those changes reflected in those ships. And your ships, and all of your ships, should start feeling a bit different. That's what he means by engineering is a big...
Yeah, maybe also, because maybe that's also not clear. The way that ships will die will also dramatically change with engineering gameplay. So right now, every ship has its health pool. Once it reaches a critical value, it will explode. So this will not be the case anymore, especially for player-driven ships. So if you are in a player-driven scenario, it will be more likely that you disable the other ship rather than having it explode. There will be still situations where you can make the other ship explode, but yeah, it's what we want to see more is the deactivating and boarding actions there, as already hinted at.
A chance for players to survive the death of their ship.
Or earn themselves an Idris without owning one.
Well, given the time frame, we are almost coming to an end.
What?
Yep. And I
got another 30 minutes. Let's go.
I know that a lot of you people have a lot of questions, but it might be hard to answer them all.
Thanks a lot. Speaking about informations, you started the topic some time ago, especially in Pyro or other rough territories, you encounter another player, and it's mostly it feels more safety to shoot first and ask questions later, because we lack information about the other player who's encountering us. So will there be information like a spreadsheet where we see affiliations, maybe some crime stat? I know we do see the crime stat in the color of the FF showing, but you don't see why. Maybe it wasn't just an accident, maybe it was just a parking violation or something like that. So we need more information. Will we see them more frequently, and will we able to add personal notes or personal journals about players in the future?
So those are two different topics technically. So the one bit of you getting more information is something that will be covered with the FPS scanning. So FPS scanning will give you some details on what, or will give you information, more information on what you're encountering. And that can include the faction they belong to, or a crime stat, or no, I don't. No, that's not what's. No, I will not say this. But there's something that we are internally discussing that we also want to display there. That also gives you a bit of an incentive.
Your social security number.
Yeah,
I'm just going to tell everybody.
It's Jared's all the time. And the other question is for the notes one. So Gabriel and JJ and Benoit did a panel at CitizenCon about the social changes that we want to do. And this is basically open up you can add notes, and the intent is also have those reflect on the scanning, especially if you are encountering another player.
Yeah. Basically, did you have a chance to watch that social presentation from CitizenCon? Because based on your question, it's going to be one of the most important presentations you're going to want to watch. You have a lot of that stuff is there, and that's the intention about how to not just make affiliations, but how to track the affiliations, how to notate up the affiliations, how to share that information with others. We absolutely envision a world where you guys are essentially self-policing. It's through your own ability to assign reputation to people and track reputation and communicate that to the other members of your orgs and whatnot, to set everybody in this org is a close friend. Everybody in this org is a sort of kind of friend. Everybody in this org is Dust Cartel, and like whatever. No, but we absolutely envision a world where that kind of stuff, that stuff's essential. It's essential to building the universe that we want to build. And if you haven't, even if you have, go back and rewatch that panel. It's, to my money, at last year's CitizenCon, it was the sleeper panel of the whole presentation. It's going to have a lot of that information you were looking for.
Well, one question here.
It's just not from Das Cartel.
Ich hätte so gern noch eine Filterfunktion für die Mission im Hobbyclass. Gerade was Hauling betrifft, haben wir manchmal so eine Liste voll mit Missionen, und du musst wirklich alle einzeln anklicken und schauen, wo holst du das Zeug ab, wo kannst du es abgeben, und dafür hätte ich so gern eine Filterfunktion. Das würde ich mir noch wünschen.
So I have a question about vehicle ammunition reloading. How is the state of it, and when can we expect it?
When?
A when question? That's
Schon
just
wieder.
what I expect.
I didn't hear the when. But so right now you restock by using the landing services.
Oh, come on.
No, so yeah, we discussed it as well. Like I am repeating myself, and I'm very sorry for that. But the engineering gameplay is a full package, and physicalized ammunition was part of the discussion. But as already mentioned, we assessed everything that we want to deliver with engineering gameplay. The physicalized ammunition is on the list, but it is not prioritized right now. So it will take some time until we get there, but there is the huge intent with the physicalized ammunition to give you the opportunity of especially of the bigger ships, that you can restock in the field rather than you have to go to like a landing zone and then like use the services there. What I can hint at is that you might already see, like all your data miners out there, that we are already preparing for that in the background, for the ammunition types that we want to release with the engineering gameplay, that is already encompassing like bullet sizes and like calibers instead of what we currently have, where we have bespoke ammunition per weapon. So now with the switch to like caliber types, it opens up the possibility to restock ammunition.
Yeah, I want to add to that there's a couple ships, now like the big torpedo launcher we just launched with the Idris T torpedo launcher. In order to reload it, you have to fly back to station or whatnot and reload it through the Mobiglass. It's like this. Those are the methods that we have today at our disposal from running a live environment in the middle of our game development. There isn't a person at CIG that doesn't want you to be able to stock up on all the missiles and all the torpedoes and all the bullets, all the extra power plants if you're using laser repeaters and stuff, and be able to service yourself out in the field. Ships like the Vulcan, ships like the Crucible, there are whole ships.
Oh mein Gott.
Pardon me, I had gas. Oh no, we're over. Whoop, whoop. I was just about to reveal everything.
Hallo, hallo. Ah, da sind wir wieder.
Hello, hello. Hey, we're back.
Hello.
And yeah, that's the secret I wasn't able to tell you.
Vor Ort war das noch schlimmer. Oh mein Gott.
No. But being able to fully service your vehicle out in the field without having to go home for every silly little thing is something that every single person at CIG wants. So whether that won't be today and it won't be tomorrow, but if there's one of those things, I feel confident in saying that this is a major desire on behalf of the ship team, the gameplay teams, the design teams, everybody. That's where we want to go. You see a bit of that with the Polaris and that whole crazy torpedo reloading stuff. It might not be that involved every time, but we desperately want to get to this point where you can go out in your ship and be out in your ship for days. Hopefully, if the servers stay up weeks and stuff without having to come home. If you prepare correctly and you have your Battlestar Galactica fleet with your tender ships and your refueling ships and your rearming ships, you should be able to leave your landing zone and not come back for days and days and days. And that's where I know we want to get to. I just can't say when. But.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question about fire, because at the beginning of the panel you talked about fire, and my question is, are there plans to have fire outside of ships on the planetary surfaces? Because I think it would be cool to have a player-built base in danger because someone dropped a bomb from an A1 like 3 kilometers out, and yeah, that's my question.
You mean in the environment,
yeah, so that
houses can catch fire?
Yeah, that it, like on Microtech.
You just want to burn all the forest on Microtech. That's what you.
I don't want to say I want to do it, but I think it would be maybe.
I think it's you.
It would be fun.
I don't have an A1, but if you want to provide me with one, I would be happy about it.
I don't want to answer that.
So, obviously, when we stated in ISC the last time we did an episode on fire, which was towards the end of last year, that for the first however many drops and whatnot, fires are going to happen exclusively on the interior of your ships. When you start getting to the exterior, it's not just a question of fire. It's a question of let's just use the forest of Microtech. It's the destruction of trees. If you asked any one of us, how cool would it be to take your C1 and go low flying and just barrel through a bunch of trees and have all those trees explode into timbers
Also an sich
and
wär's
have that
schon
path
cool,
through? We'd all be
aber
like, yeah, that would be so cool. But you have in a single player game that would be, it wouldn't be a trivial or an easy thing, but it would be an absolutely manageable and achievable thing. In a multiplayer universe, especially when you're trying to build up, we're up to 600 players now, you're trying to get beyond that and stuff like this. All of those physics events have to be duplicated and sent out to everybody else. The fire has to be sent to all those people because you absolutely know that if we put it in tomorrow, all 600 people on a server would gather in one space and say, come on, C2, and watch it go. And they'll watch it like this. So there's all kinds of technical implications to that. It's not to say that we don't want to. We absolutely want to. We got another. You talked to Lee on the VFX team, the guy who's in charge of fire, and if we're up to him, the whole universe would burn. That guy would burn the whole universe.
I think he would have concerns, though.
Yeah, it's always just going to be a question about what's achievable at the time that we're in, the place that we're in, technology-wise, the place we're in, performance-wise. Again, there's not a person who doesn't think that's cool as hell. I just can't begin to tell you how viable that is. It would take a lot of research. It would take a lot of time on tech preview. It would take a lot of skunk work.
Es hat bei mir gerade irgendwas geknackst.
To figure that out. But I'm willing to bet somebody will try it at some point.
I don't.
Maybe not him.
Hello. 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 In the hangars, there are container elevators, but we can't really use them to retrieve any vehicle or smaller ships. Are there plans in the future, or are there or are they in the priorities right now? Are you working on it, and how far did you get?
Why are you so depressed about that? Actually, it's like not.
I want it so much, Torsten.
Yeah, but. Huh.
Go ahead. Okay, here. There are no secrets about elevators. Elevators are not a thing we have to keep secret. If you've got anything to tell these people, tell them.
Well, as Jared said, we all want it. But, so, next patch will be cool. I don't think we will have... but to also, like, manage the expectations here. So we will not have everything.
It's an elevator. Don't hype them up for an elevator. Go ahead.
No, we will not have everything solved for that, but there will be something that will at least prove that we are on a good way.
He is.
Chris isn't watching.
No, it's just. I will say that there's something we wanted to do back in April that required the elevator, a little bit of elevator functionality that we couldn't quite get in April, and
is coming soon.
Yes, and let's just say the ability to bring up small vehicles in those side elevators is. When we talk about the table. That's in those first 6 inches.
Wenn ich es jetzt richtig verstanden habe, oder ja, wird es wahrscheinlich mit dem nächsten Patch möglich sein, dass wir auch Fahrzeuge in unserem Hangar rufen können. Unsere Fahrzeuge, ATLS, so kleinere. Genau, oder im Frachtaufzug, ja, in den Lastenaufzügen. Das wäre wunderbar.
I want it so bad. And the first thing it's going to deliver is so cool.
It's a PTV.
Ah, jetzt ATLS, ja.
That wasn't
Sehr
a
gut.
PTV.
No, that wasn't a PTV.
What was it?
That was a big machine that goes.
Das andere, das neue ATLS, wie hieß der? ICTI? ATLS ICTI? Spricht man das so aus? Ich weiß nicht, ob es der sein wird, den man bei Wickelo gesehen hat. Aber lassen wir uns überraschen.
I'm just going to compose my apology to Chris Roberts now.
I think he liked the charade.
I feel bad when they ask these good questions, and it's like we can't answer that because it's too far out or something like that. So I got to give them something every once in a while.
Das ist lieb.
What good is being content director if
You
can't
can
give
be
us some
happy that
content?
Jared is there. If it would be just me, you would get very little.
Thorsten würde so wenig sagen.
What else? Who's next?
I have a question about the new mining bags of the Golem. Are we seeing changes in the design of the Expanse or the Galaxy module that they support boosts? Or
Would make sense, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad you asked that because that's one of those questions that's so far out that we don't have an answer for. That goes back to the other question. That's not something that's going to happen in the next 6, 9, 12 months. So anything that we think right now is too open to having a better idea as it gets closer. But yes.
I think it totally makes sense.
Yes, it's one of those things I'm often quoted as saying, we're having all the same conversations you're having just 4 weeks earlier. And sometimes less upset, sometimes. But yeah, it makes sense. It just makes sense. I couldn't tell you how or where or when, but yeah, it makes sense.
Well, we have to wrap it up. It is the last question for today.
Boo.
Hi.
A good one. Not you. You're wonderful.
I know there's a lot of pressure on you.
That guy.
Now that the Idris T is released, can you hint us a bit more about the future of torpedo gameplay? Because we have very confusing information. On the one hand, you're talking about the massive destructive potential of torpedoes and therefore the high cost of torpedoes. And on the other hand, you tell us that torpedoes are more meant like a finisher weapon, so you first strip down the fighter defense, then you strip down the PDCs as turrets, and then you either board or use a torpedo to destroy the ship. So that's a very specific situation where you wouldn't expect this high cost for torpedoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna preface this by saying that neither one of us are on the vehicle experience team or involved in the balancing of that stuff, so we're gonna have limited information to provide you for that. But one of the difficult things that comes with running a live environment in the middle of your development is this constant battle of, do you build for tomorrow or do you build for today? And some things you just have to build for today. Unique item recovery, which came online in April, was one of those things where it's like, if we were building for tomorrow, that's not how we would build it. But we need something today. People are too afraid to wear their cool things. They buy these cool things, they earn these cool armors, and they're just too afraid to build it. So we chose to build something to use today. And in the future, there are other systems. Crafting will come online. There'll be other ways to do that. With torpedoes, and this is where I want to be real careful because I'm speaking way outside of an area that I have any expertise in. It's a lot of what you just said is the build for tomorrow kind of thing. It's how it's supposed to work when the full armor system comes online, when the full Maelstrom system comes online, when the full scanning package comes online. You're able to do subsystem targeting much easier and stuff like that. But that's not where we're at right now. We chose to put the Idris out right now. We chose to put the Polaris out last year, and torpedoes have to have some kind of function today. So this is my really long-winded way of saying I don't know. And it doesn't surprise me that they're in this kind of weird middle place where some parts of it have to be designed for tomorrow and some parts of it have to be designed for today. And it's one of those things that I can just tell you that our vehicle experience team, Rich Towler and all those folks in there, they're wonderful people, they're committed people, and they'll see what you're saying, they'll see what everybody is saying about them, and as new features come online, new tech comes online, they'll continue to adjust them, continue to add to the experience, and it will change. The only thing I can guarantee you is that what's there today is not what will be there tomorrow. It's the only thing I can guarantee. Because it'll get better.
Well, can you tell us if Chris is still watching?
Calculator time.
No, but I have a meeting with HR on Monday.
Well, the camera, can you come up, please? I would like to try something.
Ich finde es so mutig, wie ihr alle dort eure Fragen gestellt habt, wirklich. Also, ich weiß, ich glaube, ich hätte mich das nicht getraut. Ich finde es wirklich sehr mutig von
kannst
euch.
Du mich mal kurz... Ich muss mal gucken, danke.
I don't know what's happening.
And I think we all want to see, maybe in the future, if there's next CON42, would like to have a specific person here. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, right?
Ah. Chris Roberts.
So let's maybe get a message out to Chris Roberts. We might be a few people right now, but these few people will become many, many more, and we would like to invite you to maybe, if it happens, the next CON42.
Eine öffentliche Einladung. Das wäre doch was, wenn Chris Roberts wirklich einmal auf der CON42 auftaucht.
Again, an honor, a pleasure to have you both here. You were taking all these questions and, well, answered them masterly. So
some of them.
Well, what you could. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are very happy.